if it weren't for the fact that we were familiar with the system already and I knew this terminology, I'd probably get very lost at this point.
Yeah, RPGs have this habit of too many words. Let's
Too
make
many
book
words.
bigger.
Too many words. All right, so Alex, we talked a little bit about the Druid, which you've been familiar with and played. Now we get to talk about one of my favorite classes, which is the Bard. We hide behind the Bards. And they're fun, they're sassy, and they like to fight with words and music. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the changes that they have made since the playtest material. Design notes for Bard updates. Main updates for this class since the last playtest version. Okay, Bardic Inspiration has returned to its 2014 form. There's a lot of them just reverting back to the original D&D 5e forms for this stuff. But with the following changes. A Bardic Inspiration die is used in response to failing a D20 test. You no longer have to guess whether you failed. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is a big deal, actually. And 2, a creature has up to an hour, not just 10 minutes, to use the die.
Is that in game time, or is that out of game time?
The player themselves has a 2-hour session where they can determine... No, it's got to be in-game time, but yeah. The healing option in the previous Bard playtest has been removed because in playtesting, the healing option was encouraging too much usage hoarding, which easily resulted in the Bard not using Bardic Inspiration at all.
Fair.
Okay. Yep. That turned the... I was wondering if that was going to turn the Bard into more of just like a heal bot, having that option. But spellcasting has 2 noteworthy changes. 1, each Bard gets to choose whether to use the Arcane, Divine, or Primal spell list. And 2, spell preparation is no longer tied to the level of your spell slots. The first change...
Same as Druid with that one.
Yeah. This first change leans into the fact that a Bard might have learned their arts in an Arcane, a Divine, or a Primal context. Okay. And the second change was widely requested in the playtest feedback. Yeah.
So you can choose your Bard spell list from any of the lists?
You choose one of the 3.
I'm hoping you can change those out later, but it would also make sense from a role-playing standpoint if you had to choose on creation and had to learn the others later somehow, if you could access them.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, maybe I'm a bard, but I came from a barbarian tribe.
Right.
Which would put me in the line with primal.
Yeah, no, that would be more of the Primal spell list, I think. Yeah.
I think that's neat. It gives a lot of option to customize bards, I think, just that alone.
Jack of all trades has returned to 2nd level. Cool. Bard subclass levels now match the level progression in the 2014 Bard, ensuring compatibility with subclasses already in print. Font of Inspiration has returned to 5th level, and it now also allows you to expend spell slots to use Bardic Inspiration if you're out of uses. Cool. Counter Charm returns and has been improved. It's now 7th level, and can be used as a reaction rather than an action. Well, that makes more sense. If I'm gonna use a Counter Charm spell, you'd think that it was a reaction to something. Magical Secrets, yes, has returned to 10th level and now affects your spell choice for all your later Bard levels. And then Words of Creation is a new 20th level feature replacing Epic Boon again. I think it's interesting that they decided to replace Epic Boons for 20th for these spells.
I assume that people, I don't know, it says Epic Boons will return in a future UA. So they're redesigning the Epic Boons.
Yeah.
I assume because people didn't care for them.
It's interesting that the Epic Boon was supposed to be something, very special, but every class seemed to get it at 20th, and so I think that it just kind of ruined the uniqueness of it, but they'll come back with it. In case anyone's wondering, you were talking about this before, Magical Secrets that you get at 10th, I was just looking at that. your Bard spell list now includes Arcane, Divine, and Primal spell lists.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
So basically, by 10th level, you've unlocked all of your features. You have them all available, which for Bards is pretty damn good. That gives you a very wide range of spells that you can utilize. But everything else is pretty... I'm just looking real quick. I think everything else we've already pretty much talked about before.
Yeah, we can go over the features really quick, I think. If you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Did Inspiration change? You can use it as a bonus action within a 60-foot range. You get to use it equal to a number of times of Charisma modifier, and you can regain all uses when you finish long rest.
That's just like it was in 5e.
Okay.
Yeah. Your charisma die determines your number of inspiration. Your bardic inspiration, and then it changes. Yeah, this looks pretty much like it was before, becoming a D8, D10, and D12 as it goes up. You can add half your proficiency bonus to any ability check you make that uses a skill proficiency you lack, and that doesn't otherwise use your proficiency bonus. For example, if you make a strength athletics check and lack athletics proficiency, you can add half your proficiency bonus to the check. Yeah, that actually is similar to what they did in 5e, where you have half proficiencies for everything, basically, at least, even if you're not proficient in something, which made Bards a skill monkey more than anything else. It's very hard to have a negative for Bards. Counter charm, it does what the name says. Magical secrets I already talked about. Everything else is actually fairly straightforward. It's mostly about different ways to use your inspiration. And
I like superior inspiration at 18.
Mm-hmm.
When you roll initiative and have no uses of Bardic Inspiration left, you regain 2 expended uses of it.
Yeah. You just have to find a way to engage in initiative all the time.
Get into a fist fight and then call off the fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's similar to like when we were looking at the druid, and it's about regaining wild shape at when you start again. So it's kind of nice, especially for classes like these that have such a tie to a very specific thing. To be able to regain it when you get to higher levels and you might need it more often. I want to talk about the subclasses. We had talked about the College of Lore before. We're going to get there. But the other two that they list seem kind of neat, which is...
Dance and Glamour, right?
Dance and Glamour, it should be, yes. Which I believe Glamour was a one that was in 5e, and I think College of Dance was in one of the supplements, if I remember correctly. But College of Dance, not what you thought you were going to do when you started playing role-playing games, folks. Join the College of Dance. But the College of Dance know that words of creation can not be contained within speech or even song. They are uttered by the movements of celestial bodies and flow through the movements of even the smallest creatures. Dance is art, freed from the constraints of a single point in time and space, and it is meaning unconfined by narrow definitions of words and structures of grammar. Basically, these bards are so passionate that they can't just say or gesture, they have to dance their feelings.
These bards got the happy feet.
They got the happy feet. These are the happy feet of bards. And so their skills are kind of, themed around that. Third level, we have dazzling footwork. Your practice...
I think this is interesting because it really alters the bard playstyle.
Oh, okay. You've read up on this before.
Just a
I did.
little, just this one.
Okay, let me read this here. Your practice of dance gives you the ability to gracefully dodge and make agile strikes. While you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield, you gain the following benefits. Unarmored defense. Your base armor class equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier and your charisma modifier. Great. Agile strikes, when you expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration as part of an action, a bonus action or a reaction, you can make one unarmed strike as part of that action, bonus action or reaction. Is this just turning them into a monk?
I believe so.
And bardic damage, you can use dexterity instead of strength for attack rolls of your unarmed strikes. This is a monk. And
that's why I said it altered the bard's playstyle.
Yeah, and when you deal damage with an unarmed strike, you can deal bludgeoning damage in equal to the roll of your Bardic Inspiration die, plus your dexterity modifier. Oh, okay, that's really interesting. This roll...
Yeah, so you're not really a monk, but you've got an unarmored bard who's a dancer who can just, cross-classing this with monk would be really interesting.
Yeah, you go up and boop people in the snoot. And also the damage, though, scales similar to monks, because if they're using the Bardic Inspiration die as your base damage, and that scales up to D12. That's similar to unarmed strikes for monks, where you will hit and then add your dexterity modifier. So that's
not as many hits as a monk would do, though.
No. That would be really OP, though. If you turned them into like an unarmed fighter and then they also had bardic spells and abilities, that would be a lot. Also at 3rd level, you get Inspiring Movement. When an enemy you can see ends its turn within 5 feet of an ally of yours who is within 60 feet of you, you can use a reaction and expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to move up to half your speed. Then roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and the ally can move up to a number of feet equal to 5 times the number rolled. None of this feature's movement provokes opportunity attacks. Oh.
Sounds like, you need to move away from them? Here you go.
Yeah. So that's like... Yeah. That reminds me of, some of the movement abilities, actually, that monks could do with some of the key points. To do, like, your bonus actions. 6th level, Leading Evasion. When you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw, and you take only half damage if you fail. Now they're a rogue.
I mean,
this is uncanny dodge.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It's better, though.
If any creatures within 5 feet of you are making the same dexterity saving throw, you can share this benefit with them for that save?
Yeah. Yep.
You can't use this feature if you have the...
So suddenly having a dancing bard in the party makes them really valuable for the AoE save.
Not only... Okay, so now we've created a bard that's not only a skill monkey that has an improved spell list where they can just have, like, all the spells, but they can also do uncanny dodge, and they have unarmed monk strength.
Yeah, so basically this seems like they're a choreographer.
Yeah, exactly. They're Baryshnikov. We're great. Also at 6th level, that wasn't enough, folks. We had more. Tandem Footwork. When you roll initiative, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration if you don't have the incapacitated condition. When you do, roll your Bardic Inspiration die and choose a number of creatures within 60 feet of yourself. You can choose yourself. Up to a number equal to your Charisma modifier. Yeah, each of them gains a bonus to their initiative equal to the number... Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, I also would like everyone to move up in initiative order, thanks.
Yeah, hey, party, crowd around. It's okay, folks. I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration die, and this time everybody gets an additional 10 to your initiative, so... If we could just make that happen, that'd be great. I'm kind of scared to see what 14th level is for this damn thing.
It's pretty simple. You just have Otto's Irresistible Dance prepared at all times.
That's kind of... That's anticlimactic after the last feature.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, folks. That's very anticlimactic after the absolute... like, balls out features of 3 and 6.
Please do not dance with your balls out.
No, that's a whole other school of dancing. That's That has to be a different subclass. Of course, Bards would probably love that.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, Bards being Bards. But anyway, yeah, that's way better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not gonna lie. I like that they're just taking other class features from other classes, just putting them in the subclass. College of Glamour is a classic, actually. Traces its origins to the beguiling magic of the Feywild. Bards who study this magic weave threads of beauty and terror into their songs and stories, and the mightiest among them can cloak themselves in otherworldly majesty. Some design notes. Here are some main updates since Xanathar's guide. Mantle of Inspiration now grants a number of temporary hit points determined by a roll of Bardic Inspiration. Beguiling Magic, which was Enthralling Performance, has been redesigned to focus on enhancing your enchantment and illusion spells. Mantle of Majesty now ensures that you always have the command spell prepared, and you can restore your use of the feature by expending a spell slot of 3rd level or higher. And then Unbreakable Majesty now triggers on a creature hitting you and can negate the hit. Okay, excellent. So basically at 3rd level, we get Beguiling Magic, where you always have Charm Person and Mirror Image prepared. And additionally, immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, you can cause a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save. On a failed save, the target has the Charmed or Frightened condition, your choice, for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again for another long rest. Okay. So I'm getting the feeling like this is a lot of enchantment and illusion enhancements for this one.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. 3rd level also gets Mantle of Inspiration. You can weave Fey magic into song or dance to fill others with vigor. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of Bardic Inspiration, rolling a Bardic Inspiration die. When you do so, choose a number of other creatures within 60 feet of yourself, up to the number of your Charisma modifier. Each of them gains a number of temporary hit points equal to 2 times the number rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die. And then each of them can use its reaction to move up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks.
That's nice. It's pretty okay.
Yeah, it is. I want to say that there was a spell that the Bards had available, Heroism, which was a concentration spell. I think I used it, actually, when I was playing Max. And it did something similar, like it was a concentration spell, but you could grant it to a number of characters that gave them a certain number of temporary hit points, like every single turn for, like, 10 turns or something. So that's sort of in the same vein. 6th level, you get Mantle of Majesty. You always have the command spell prepared. As a bonus action, you cast Command without expending a spell slot, and you take on an unearthly appearance for 1 minute or until your concentration ends. During this time, you can cast Command as a bonus action without expending a spell slot. Any creature charmed by you automatically fails its saving throw against the command you cast with its feature. Once you finish this, you can't use it again for a long rest. Okay. Alright. Fine. I get that. Okay. And then 14th level, Unbreakable Majesty. As a bonus action, you can assume a magically majestic presence for 1 minute, or until you have the incapacitated condition. For the duration, whenever any creature hits you with an attack roll for the first time on a turn, the attacker must succeed on a Charisma saving throw against your spell save DC, or the attack misses instead, as the creature recoils from your majesty. Once you assume this majestic presence, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. My majesty is overpowering this class.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine.
I like dance a bit more.
Dance is great. It's got so many great features from other classes I've played that just like get integrated in. The one that I did play though Max was a College of Lore Bard. So,
Mhm.
and it is kind of the default one, I feel, for the Bard. There are a couple things that they changed around. For instance, bonus proficiencies has gone back to allowing any skill to be chosen. Great. Cutting words. Yeah, this is good, though. I'm happy about this. It can once more reduce damage, because they changed cutting words around, and I don't remember what it did, but I didn't like it. The damage reduction was absent in the previous Bard playtest because of the now removed healing option. Oh, okay. So that's fine. Cutting words was a better idea anyway. I liked it. Magical Discoveries, which was additional magic secrets, has returned and allows you to replace one of the chosen spells each time you gain a Bard level. Okay, I thought you could do that whatever. Peerless skill now benefits both ability checks and attack rolls, not just ability checks. Okay. The thing I remember about College of Lore that was really nice is that it does focus a lot more on the actual spell casting and trying to give you more magical ability, but it also wanted to focus on the big class feature of utilizing Bardic Inspiration. Third level, you get proficiency with 3 skills of your choice. Very bardy of you. And cutting words. Yes, I love cutting words, actually. You learn how to use your wit to supernaturally distract, confuse, or otherwise sap the confidence and competence of others. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes a damage roll or succeeds on an ability check or attack roll, you can use a reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll your die, and subtract the number rolled from the creature's roll, reducing the damage or potentially turning the success into a failure.
Do you ever feel like they word these poorly?
It's too wordy for what it is. What they could have just said is, you can use your reaction to target a creature inside 60 feet. Roll your Bardic Inspiration die and reduce the number on an attack roll, damage roll, or what was the other one? Ability check by the number rolled. Like, you subtract it from that. And you would have gotten to the same, because that's what it does. It's like, if you're the GM and you roll a die, basically, and yeah.
I mostly feel like you don't need to say, you can use your reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and subtract the number rolled from the creature's roll. I feel like you can just say, you can use your reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll the dice, and subtract that number from the creature's, dice roll.
Yeah, it would be helpful, just because I feel like this is just too wordy. But then again, I felt that way for a lot of what we've read.
There's a lot of too many words make book longer.
If it weren't for the fact that we were familiar with the system already and I knew this terminology, I'd probably get very lost at this point.
Yeah, RPGs have this habit of too many words. Let's make book bigger.
Too many words. Magical Discoveries, which was Magical Secrets or Additional Magical Secrets once upon a time. You learn 2 spells of your choice. These spells can come from the Arcane, Divine, or Primal spell list, or any combination thereof. A spell you choose must be a cantrip or a spell for which you have a spell slot. Yep, this is pretty much what it was before. If I had gotten to level 6 with Max, I would have been able to pick any 2 spells, basically, that I wanted, all the way up to level 3. You always have the chosen spells prepared, and whenever you gain a Bard level, you can replace one of the spells with another spell that meets the requirements. Okay, cool. And then Peerless skill, when you make an ability check or an attack roll and fail, you can expend Bardic Inspiration, roll the die, and add the number rolled to the d20, potentially turning failure into success. Well, yes, of course, that's what I would be doing it for. You didn't really need to explain that. On a failure, the Bardic Inspiration isn't expended. So
it's like, here's something. I assume they need to add in, you can only do this once per check.
Yeah, that would probably
I feel like that.
Yeah.
quantify it, because otherwise, it's like, oh, I didn't expend that dice. Let me just try it again.
Yes.
The rules don't say you can only do it once.
Yes, that is true. And then finally, we have College of Valor, which is, I think, one of the first 2 classes along with lore that's in the original Player's Handbook in 5.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's really simple, too, so that's good.
yeah, it's very straightforward. There are a couple updates from the 2014 Player Handbook. You have martial training, which now allows you to use a weapon as a spell casting focus to cast spells from your bard list, and you have combat inspiration that has 2 changes. The defense option is now triggered by being hit, and the offense option works with attacks of any kind, just like weapon attacks. Yeah, so here's your combat option for bards, basically. That's what this is.
Okay.
Combat inspiration at 3rd level. You use your wit to turn the tide of a battle. Basically, either defense, when a creature is hit by an attack roll, they can use its reaction to roll Bardic Inspiration and add the number rolled to the AC against it. And then offense, where immediately after a creature hits a target with an attack roll, they can roll Bardic Inspiration and add the number rolled to the damage against the target. You get martial training, which means that you gain proficiency with martial weapons and medium armor and shields. You can also use a simple or martial weapon as a spellcasting focus. You get an extra attack at 6th, which makes it...
Which is nice.
Much more like a martial class would, similarly. And then at 14th level, you get battle magic. After you cast a spell that has casting time of an action, you can make 1 attack with a weapon as a bonus action. So, you get to cast your spell and poke people in the eye. So, that's good.
Both are good.
Both are good. Very basic, but I think that that's perfectly fine. Valor is really supposed to be so that your bard is a frontline fighter, in more or less that way. So that's good. I'm glad that they made the change. The only thing that I really am happy about is that they changed cutting words back to what it was before, because I didn't...
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good changes, then?
Good changes. I totally understand the healing aspect that they had from before getting cut, because I did look at that and think to myself, well, this is just going to make the bard basically the cleric light of the party, basically just going to be utilized in that regard, and there's so much other functionality you want with bards, where they have so many things that they can do, and the versatility of them is really one of the fun things about them. I'm not going to lie, the College of Dance is the best subclass.
It is pretty great.
And considering that I do like playing rogues and monks, it's like just putting monk and rogue class features into the...
Now, you gotta take College of Dance with a rogue level so you can backstab.
Oh yeah, let's do that too. I'll get my uncanny dodge. I'll be all set. So there you go. Yeah. I like those changes. I think that makes perfect sense. This seems to be much more shored up. I'm good with it. That's my hot take. I'm good with those changes, and I'm mostly just happy that they changed College of Lore back.
Yeah.
And College of Dance is kind of stupid, but I love it.
Let us know in the comments if you'd be a dancing bard.
That's right. And are you going to dab? Can I be a dabbing bard?
Sure, you can probably plank too. Why don't you do the worm?
I need a bard that's just from the breakdancing school, and we can just do an 80s inspired breaking parody.
You need one bard who can beatbox and the other who can dance.
You don't need 2 different bards for that. One bard will do both of those jobs for you. You kidding me?